excited. I am so excited. So, there may be a few people out there in the world. Thank you so much. I missed you too, Miss Simple Life. It's been a minute. It definitely has been a minute. Life happens and you have to do what you have to do and take care of your priorities. We can't get caught up in the internet world to the point where we forget real life is actually going on, where we forget we actually have to be productive. We actually have to meet goals. We actually have to do the necessary things in life that are important, other than engaging on social media. So I had to do those things, and I had a few postponements. So I just want to let you know, if you missed the last few episodes, those individuals have been rescheduled and they will be back. They have been rescheduled and they will be back. But listen, I got a young lady here today that I'm going to bring her to the stage. This young lady was born in Beverly Hills and raised in Los Angeles. And about 25 other cities. My goodness, you've been around. Man, you must be in a military family or something to have been traveling like that. A hard worker, and she's definitely a young lady who has a lot to talk about tonight. And we're going to get into her story about her being a multi-racial, sophisticated, diverse, eclectic, and free-minded Scorpio. A 4-time college dropout. We're going to talk about that. Dropped out not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times at college. And I'm thinking it was to pursue your dream as an independent artist and songstress. So that's amazing that you did not give up. So, my goodness, how are you feeling
pretty
tonight?
Good. I am relaxed and just fine. How are you?
I love the pink. What's that? You got a bow on your head? Because I can't see it all. Is that? You got a bandana on your head. Okay. Listen to you. So listen. I know that when I look at your bio and you talk about the fact that I see so much. There's so much I can see, and I know that you are still chasing the dream after surviving COVID, after surviving a fire, a flood, and homelessness. So before we even dive into all that, take us back to the beginning. Take us back to the little girl.
Zarina.
What's your first name? Other than Zarina? Zarina. Zarina, take us back to who was Zarina.
Who was she? I dang near forgot. I think I've been more grown than I have been a child. I forgot who I was as a kid. But kind of like how my Bible says, I've moved around a lot, so I was really a diverse kid, but introvert, artistic, a happy loner. Like, I got along with being alone very young. So, and I have 10 siblings, but I still just kind of was good without company a lot.
So you stayed to yourself. Even then, you were by yourself. Children don't know how to play by themselves and to be by themselves and be happy. So was you a happy child?
I was very happy. My mother provided a very good upbringing for us. Well, my parents, per se, not just my mother, but my parents. I grew up very safe. I grew up with a lot of men, a lot of great men. And, really just eventful. We had an eventful life, especially moving around a lot. I had an eventful childhood.
So how did the moving around come about? Is it because there's one of those men or some of your parents, were they in the military? What do you mean when you say you moved around a lot? Most people that say that, they are military.
So no military. Really, my mother was just, back in the days, they started off motherhood pretty early. So my mother and fathers would move around a lot just to try to find their perfect settlement and perfect place. And with the economy back then, my mom was pretty thriving. At least from what I remember, she was a thriving woman. And of course, in her partnerships, I noticed as a child, she was very unsatisfied with places we moved. So she was kind of bougie. So she would just move because things weren't, up to her liking where we were. She would move because she liked different houses. And then she started doing real estate, and we would house hop because she was always shopping different neighborhoods and houses and stuff like that. So I had a pretty privileged, very blessed and privileged upbringing with her.
Wow. And so when did you start to dream? When did the dreaming begin? Was this in middle school or high school? When did you know that you wanted to be a star and a singer?
I think I have to give that to the energy of my mother. Again, I love my mom a lot, but I give her all due respect to that because she named me Star. I'm not Star by my own naming. She named me Star. Sweetheart, close my door. I'm sorry. Okay, bring it to me later. Close the door, please. Thank you.
Ooh, they got a beautiful little boy right here. How old is she? Oh, a 4-year-old son. Amazing. Yeah. Good, good, good. So she named you Star, and I know that some of it had to be attributed to you singing. You sang in about 11, or you started at 11 in a lot of choirs. You were singing in choirs and groups and bands and studios from Houston to Dallas and all over. So how did that start?
So my mother was an aspiring singer when I was a child, and she chose. Close my door, baby, please. Thank you. Please close my door. Thank you. Talk to Marie. Thank you. Sorry, let me close my baby out.
That's okay. Miss Simple Life, she's actually born in Beverly Hills, and she was raised in Los Angeles, along with 25 other cities that she said along the southwestern state. So she has been a person who traveled a lot. And somebody asked where you were from, so I was letting them know where you were from.
I do consider myself kind of like a black gypsy because we move so much. But my mother, like I said, my mother was an aspiring singer, and she kind of, I guess, blessed me with that same talent and that same dream. So I think I kind of inherited it, so to speak. I had a dream of singing. She sacrificed the singing dream for her children to be a mother, and I kind of just took it on. It was something I was doing since I was 4. I remember her putting me on blast in front of people as a kid, like, "Hey, come here, come sing a song for so and so," and so it started there, and it went into school. Every school I was in, I was a part of all the choirs and glee clubs and cheerleading too, because I use my voice there. So yeah, I was always there.
Wow. So when was the first solo?
So at 11 is when I started doing it like professionally in the church, and then actually in a church band. I actually had a private music teacher at the age of 11 from Oklahoma. I had a temporary stay from Los Angeles to Oklahoma to pursue that with a music teacher who was teaching me piano and teaching me how to control my voice, and I was actually learning the harp as well. So while learning all 3 of the instruments, I became part of a duo in Oklahoma, and we began singing in a church, and we started doing small events as a band.
Wow, the harp. The harp is so beautiful, so melodic. My goodness. Do you still play the harp? What, you didn't like it?
I'm so sorry. He's fighting.
That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes children are unpredictable, and they deserve our attention. And he probably wants the people to see him. He wants to say hello. He says mommy is on there, and he wants to say hello. So don't apologize about being a mother at all. Don't apologize for being a mother, because that's who you are. Definitely. So talk to me about what singing means to you. You quit school 4 times. Talk to me about that path. How did that happen? You were in college, and what was it that made you say, I need to stop. I want to do a singing career the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time, and then the fourth time? How did that happen?
The first time I attended college, I was a beauty student for Maranello Beauty Colleges. I enrolled without really fully knowing what they were going to teach me, without seeing the proper curriculum. And I had a strong interest in natural hair care, braids, and weaves extensions. So when I signed up with them, I got in, and halfway through, I realized they're not going to teach me what I really wanted to know. So I dropped out. I dropped out because they lacked the knowledge that I was seeking. So I dropped out. And then the second time, I actually went into business admin, and I only dropped out because I was a struggling single mother with a different 4-year-old boy at the time. And So I dropped out because of the juggling, you know, single momhood and living in LA, keeping up with the Joneses and living in LA being a single mom. It was just too much. So I quit school just to go work more, just to make more money just in the work field. And the third time I went was for business management. And I only quit that because the online curriculum was not for me. So, you know, I inspired all these 3 different areas, and something different came to play. So the 4th time I went, oh, I'm sorry, I can hear you. Uh-oh, the sound. Can you hear me? Oh, my sound went out. Did it?
Yes,
Oh,
you
okay.
froze up and the
Sorry.
sound went out. Yes, ma'am. No, that's okay. Hey, listen, we're on the internet, so we know on the internet things happen. So we can't control the internet at all. So we just have to go.
That's how show business is. Like they said, the show must go on, so the interview will go on. So the 4th time, tell me about the 4th time and what was different about the 4th and final time that allowed you to really
the 4th
make it
time,
happen.
because I kept going, right, like how you said, every time I dropped out, I would go pursue music or modeling or artistry, but mostly music was my main pursuit every time I quit. I always pursued music in my free time and whenever I wasn't, you know, being formally educated. So the 4th time I moved to Houston, I had just suffered from a fire, lost everything. I literally painted $50,000 worth of art and it burned down in a fire. And this was supposed to be my debut artwork to go into magazines and be published and to be put in LA art storefronts. And it burned down on me. So that kind of, my dreams crumbled with that, with the artwork burning on me. So I moved to Houston to restart my life because I lost everything in LA. When the fire happened, I lost everything I was building up. So I moved to Houston and I went to school for music because music was pretty much all I had. I was on my journey as a painter, but lost all of that. So I was like, what do I have left? All I have is my voice left. So let me go find the proper education so that I can pursue this career properly. That was my mindset and goal. So I went back to school for music and I studied classical piano, jazz, and vocal. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that and I dropped out only because of a storm called Harvey came and flooded Houston. I'm sure, I don't know if you remember it, but it was pretty big.
Yes.
Flooded Houston.
Yes. Wow. So, Harvey was a big one, and a lot of people got affected. So you said a couple critical things. Number one, you moved to Houston. I just visited Houston, had an amazing time in Houston, and my daughter wants to go to Houston. And a lot of people that I met that first night when I went on the trail ride and everything, they were talking about moving back to Houston. What is it about Houston to make people want to go there? Like, oh my goodness.
For me, Houston, I was already acclimated to the South from being my father living here in Dallas. So I bounced back and forth here as a teenager, since a teenager into my early adulthood. So I was already acclimated to Dallas. So when I went to Houston, it was only because of a good friend of mine offered me a fresh start after the fire. So going there, I experienced it and I loved it. It's something about Houston that is a little bit of Los Angeles in the South mixed, or it's almost like the Las Vegas of Texas without the casinos. It's something thriving about the nightlife. It's a really good vibe.